Let's talk about how to break the anxious avoidance cycle in relationships. Now, I'll start by prefacing this and saying it does require intentional work on both ends. You can also take this journey on your own if you choose to. Now, research does show that relationships thrive off of feeling emotionally safe. And these two attachment styles, avoidant and anxious, struggle with feeling safe emotionally, whether it's struggling to feel safe to emotionally express themselves and be vulnerable, avoidant, or to feel safe in being fully themselves without being judged or left, anxious. Now, step one would be understanding what your specific attachment style is. Once you've got that out of the way, let's move into what to do. I'll start with anxious attachment styles and what to do, and then avoidant attachment styles and what to do, then what you can both do as a couple together. So if you're ready, hang tight. Let's start with the anxious attachment styles. Now, the first thing I'm going to want you to work on is regulating your emotions. So self-regulation skills. This can be done in a few ways. You can work on breathing exercises, you can work on grounding techniques, progressive muscle relaxation, you can integrate journaling into your routine before you talk to your partner and have these discussions. Practice journaling. Write out what you're feeling, what your fears are, what your thoughts are, and then go to your partner. That's going to be more helpful than just coming in with all of these emotions that they sense and they feel and they fear and run away from. The other thing you can work on is distress tolerance. And this essentially is learning how to pause before reacting in a panic due to needing reassurance from them. The next thing I want you to work on is developing a more secure communication style. So using things such as I statements instead of accusatory statements, which if we actually take the time to notice how we speak to our partners, most times you may find that it may be more accusatory. So you got to practice asking for connection rather than protesting it. This is going to go against everything you want to do. I know. That's why I prefaced it and said it's going to take intentional work. The next important thing to work on is understanding your self-worth. Remember that for anxiously attached individuals, a lot of the fears are rooted in somebody is going to see my imperfections or my vulnerabilities and they're going to leave. They're going to reject me if they see the real me. And so when you can give yourself the gift that not many people have of feeling truly accepted, loved, and seen when you're at your worst, that is the most fulfilling thing. It's even better when you can do that for yourself and not depend on somebody else to do that for you. A lot of times this takes going through therapy and working on repairing and healing the inner parts of yourself that have been neglected for so long. Let's switch towards what the avoidant attached partner can do. So the first thing you can practice doing is increasing your emotional tolerance. That means practicing staying within the conflict or the disagreement without running away, without withdrawing. In addition to that is understanding when you're withdrawing, what you're doing in the moment. This takes self-awareness. So what I want you to practice is understanding what's going on with me when I start to feel this way. Name the feeling. Do you feel discomfort? Do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel anxious? Then I want you to practice expressing it to your partner. The next and most important one is to reframe what vulnerability means and looks like to you. A lot of individuals who have more of an avoidant attachment style, they see vulnerability as the worst thing. They see that as them losing their sense of self, their sense of autonomy, but it's okay and possible to be vulnerable with your partner and still keep your sense of self. And also to develop an understanding, a true understanding that I can be vulnerable with my partner, and that doesn't mean that they're going to use that against me, because that a lot of times is a big fear for avoidance. Now, this is going to then lead me to the next recommendation, which would be to work on this in therapy. The reason why it's important to work on this in therapy is because you're going to have to go backwards to understand where your avoidant attachment style started from and also how it's continuing to contribute to your life and your relationships today. Here's how you can work on things together as a couple. First is to practice co-regulation. This is where both of the partners learn how to soothe each other. So the anxious partner learns how to wait before panicking, and the avoidant partner learns how to show up without withdrawing. The next could be to create and designate certain times for connection with each other. Kind of like when you're scheduling date nights, scheduling points of connection with each other. Next is practicing healthier communication skills based on your specific attachment style. So what you struggle with, that's going to be what you work on to improve your communication skills with your partner. And these are just a few tips to get you started, because I'm not trying to overwhelm anybody either. But most importantly is to also work with a couples therapist that can really dive into where you're each coming from individually and then how that's impacted you both as a couple. So that means you both are intentionally going to have to be present and working on these things. So if you have any more questions, leave them down below.